One of the most common uses of the Respondus Exam Creation Software uses the import function to import questions from a Word document or other text source, and then insert those questions directly into your D2L course. Of course, you may create questions and exams within this program too. The Respondus Exam Creation Software links directly to your D2L account, giving you the ability to import questions and exams into a single course or even a batch of courses. Before you can import your questions, you must first ensure that your questions are correctly formatted. On your screen, I've displayed the 3 most common question types as well as the appropriate format for each of those types. Notice that I identified the correct answer by placing an asterisk to the left of the correct answer option. For questions that are not either true, false, or multiple choice, you must also identify the appropriate question type. I've included the formatting guide in the description of this video as a reference. After you've formatted your document, you're now ready to begin the import process. First, open the Respondus 4.0 campus-wide program. A best practice is to confirm your program's default preferences before you begin. This check is going to save you a lot of heartache in the end. So go ahead and click the File option located in the top left-hand side of the screen and then select Preferences. On the Edit and Publish tab, confirm the default point value for your questions. You can also choose to randomize answer options in your questions. After you've made the appropriate changes, confirm your selections by clicking OK. Now, from the Start tab, click on the Import Questions button. A window will pop open. First, you'll need to select the type of file you'll be importing. Here, I'll select docx. Then I'll need to click Browse so that I can locate my import file. Once you've selected your import file, continue to Step 2 of the Import Wizard, where you will need to select the second option, which is Create a New Document Named. This prompt refers to the Respondus file that you will be creating during the import process, so give the file an intuitive name and then continue to Step 3. Click the Preview button. Previewing your file will check it for any errors or discrepancies. If Respondus catches any errors or warnings, those notices will appear in the lower text area. You must correct all errors before continuing. You do not necessarily have to correct warnings. Once your file has been approved in the preview mode, click Finish. This action will import your questions into the Respondus program, and you may be prompted to save your file. If so, click OK here. After saving your file, you'll be taken to the Edit tab of the Respondus program. Here, you'll have an opportunity to double-check the questions imported from your document. I would encourage you to scroll through your questions, looking for any discrepancies one more time. If you need to make a change to a question, click on the question title and then select the Modify option. You'll make your changes, being sure to click Save Changes when you're finished. And once you feel comfortable with your questions, click on that Settings tab. Here, you'll be able to configure how your quiz functions in D2L. Go through each of the tabs on the left to make sure you've accounted for all the settings available to you. These settings include dates of availability, the time limit, and submission view options. You'll have to associate your quiz with a grade item after you've imported it into your D2L course. If you want your questions to appear in random order, you can configure that option too by selecting the Random Sections tab. We're not going to be covering randomized quizzes in this video, so after you've finished configuring your quiz's settings, click on the Preview and Publish tab. Now, as an aside, if you would rather make all of your configurations in D2L, you can skip the Settings tab altogether and jump right over from Edit into Preview and Publish. On the Preview and Publish tab, you can preview the file if you would like. Otherwise, you'll need to go ahead and click on the Publish tab to the left. Publishing your quiz is the action that sends your quiz or quiz questions over to your D2L course. Once on the Publish tab, click the Publish Wizard button to begin the process. In Step 1, you must determine if you would like this quiz question information to be imported into a single class or a batch of classes. Note that you must be listed as an instructor in all of the D2L course sites in order to import materials into them. I'm going to select Publish to a single course here, and then I'll move on to Step 2. If this is your first time using the Respondus Exam Creation Software in this kind of capacity, you'll need to configure your D2L server. To do so, select the Add New Server option from the drop-down menu. On the Add New Server Settings pop-up, select the first option, which is Yes, check for pre-configured server settings, and then click Next. Most commonly, the first option will locate all of the appropriate server settings and sync your D2L courses to this Respondus program. If you seem to be having issues with your server settings, please contact ATS and we will guide you through that setup process. On the next page, you'll need to enter a name for your server, and I would suggest simply putting ETSU D2L here. Enter your ETSU credentials in the username and password fields. You can select to save your username and password, but I do not recommend this option. Ensure that the Run Connection Test option is selected, and then click Next. Wait until you see the message, Connection Test Completed Successfully. Then, once that message displays, click Next, and then click Finish. You'll be taken back to the first step of the publishing wizard, and here you'll need to click Next. You'll be prompted to enter your username and password, and once you've entered that information, click OK. A list of your courses will display in a drop-down menu. You'll need to be careful to select the appropriate course, and make sure that you've identified that course by selecting the correct semester. Courses are listed by CRN and then by semester code. Next, in the second section, you'll need to select in what capacity you will import these questions. Selecting Quiz here will create a new quiz in your D2L site. If you had selected any quiz settings in Respondus, those settings will also be transferred over. If you did not select any quiz settings, then your quiz will respect all of the default settings in D2L, but you will have your questions included. You would then need to log into D2L to finish configuring your quiz. Selecting Self-Assessment will create a new quiz within the Self-Assessment tool in D2L. Again, if you've selected any quiz settings in Respondus, those settings will be transferred over, and if you did not, you will then need to configure the settings in D2L. Select Question Library section, and this action will place the questions in your D2L course's question library. Now, remember, this option will not automatically create a quiz in your D2L course site. I would suggest keeping the options in Step 3 checked, as they ensure that your quiz settings, if you configured any, are copied over appropriately. After you've made your selection, click Next. You'll need to wait on this screen until you see the message Completed Successfully displayed. Then you can click Finish. At this point, your quiz and/or your quiz questions should now reside in your D2L course. You can log in and access the quiz or the quiz questions and make any changes that you need. Remember that Respondus cannot connect your quiz to the gradebook, so regardless of what capacity you imported these questions, you'll still need to at least visit the Assessment tab of the Edit Quiz screen and ensure that your quiz grade settings are configured appropriately.